Okay, it's 2:33. Wait a minute. It's 2:33. That is weird. Yeah, it says it's 2:33. Fuck, I swear to God, I'm at a point now where I lose time. I lose time. I have fractured into multiple personalities. It's completely crazy. And is there something big and dark right here? I can't even tell. I feel like my eyes are barely working. And everything, I am in so much pain. I can't even believe it. Oh my God. This is, I think what has to do like with the autoimmune, but I'm not running through their games. I already know what it is. It's, our bodies being, from all of the stuff. Some of it is like it hangs in there and causes problems. There's all sorts of problems. And then they try and, come up with this, oh, it's lupus, blah. It's like, trying to tell people some nonsense now by why all their hair is falling out right here. Oh my gosh. But anyways, when you have these flare-ups, like I totally relate to Stella when she has them because it's so, oh my God, this is so painful. But I woke up and I was laying in there and I was still having this weird thing with peeing. I don't know what the fuck. I don't understand what the fuck my body's doing, I swear to God. And so I woke up and I went in to do my weird pee, whatever the fuck is going on. And then I come out to check and see what time it was. It was like 12:41 or something. And I was like, fuck. Well, so I go and try and lay back down. And then it's just like, what is the point of this? I'm just wide awake. And so then I counted up. I was like, okay, I've slept 5 hours. It's like, okay, it's weird. Yeah, it's weird to get up at, so early. But I'll just go sit on the couch and look at TikToks or something. I won't just get up. And, which, by the way, the matcha is also mushroom. So the chaga and matcha tea in the morning. And then I had some more herbs too that are supposed to be good. But I swear to God, I've already fed the motherfuckers this morning. I mean, they're just relentless in the middle of the night. And I made some like good kind of, well, it was brownies gone bad, but I turned it into some good and turned them into biscotti. But I already fed the little motherfuckers this morning. They already had their biscottis. So they're calm. We'll see if they stay calm throughout. But the, every time I get the tapeworm in my head, and that woman talking about the tapeworm thing, and my grandma saying I had a tapeworm ever since I was a little kid, and then that thing, was 2 things that came out when I went to that, healing center, the med beds that are available now. Supposedly there's these Tesla med bed centers opening up everywhere, and they are I think those may be more of the military ones. We gotta see. But the Tesla med bed ones are opening up, because the other ones, it's like a high vibration. It's like, I mean, they're cool and stuff, but it's like, it's something that you got to be in all the time. And it's not like you can go in and it's going to make all the things that the other one does. The other one grows back appendages, grows back your teeth. Like, I keep seeing this girl on TikTok. She's heartbreaking, seriously. And I swear to God, people who bully, who have no compassion or empathy, they're just merciless, man. And she was abused by her husband and whatnot. And I don't know if they just gonna fight or if she had actually left him or whatever. But I guess he was always so brutal with her. But he shot her 3 times. Well, I'm telling you, you can't die unless it's your time. She was like shot in the chest, the heart, and the face. And half her face is blown off. And that's another thing, you know, when you're a nurse and you see how many people actually try to commit suicide and are not successful, because you can't go unless it's your time. And so she, but this whole side of her face is blown off. And she, you know, is like one of those people who's out there, though, and educating people and taking the hits and stuff. And she's, you know, you go look up at people like that. She's, I don't know, I look up to her. I think she's a role model. But when I see her, I think, you know, the med bed's going to fix that, you know, stuff like that. These brutal injuries that we suffer and go through, just stupid ass shit we do out of insecurity to ourselves, you know, that we gotta fix that stuff. We gotta redo on it. Stella's just running in her dream. I'm so uncomfortable. So I'm so squirmy, but oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. But okay, so let me think, because there was, so I got up, and was looking at the TikTok, and it was like, oh my God, it just gets worse and worse. It's just one long running commercial. And it's turned into Amazon, TikTok shop it seems similar to Amazon. And I saw an Airbnb horror story, another Airbnb horror story, which also the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think he is saying Airbnb is what's going to take down the housing market, which I can't believe how much shit they drag it out. But it's all part of the show. I just got to keep telling myself, okay, you know, but there's an important thing I want to say about it that I saw in a video that I wanted to share, the information I got from it about the quantum thing. So, but he was saying the Airbnb was going to take it down. And I heard that from another economist person, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something. And so but then I noticed this Airbnb horror story. It's like fucking Airbnb, you know, they're pretty fuckery. And here I'm trying to get one. And but I'm trying to get one in a place. I don't know, I guess fuckery can go anywhere. But, you know, over by where my daughters are, it's not like a whole bunch of them over there. But anyways, there's so many horror stories that you hear of them on both sides of it. And Airbnb is not an advocate for either person having the problem. And so, you know, they're not a positive thing or something. It's the same kind of, here, we're going to group you all together. It's like if the yellow pages started charging everybody or something. So they're going to give you access to use their platform so you can sell your stuff, which TikTok's just turned into a fucking just sell. It's so fucking ridiculous. Even if you don't have anything that you make or offer, then you're just trying to sell somebody else's shit. Yeah, it's mental. And but like in the Airbnb, in this argument with this woman was sharing, she said that the host, when she tried to say, I mean, it was the weirdest argument. It was the weirdest situation. The whole thing, her story was really, really weird. And it's bullshit. I mean, I was just like, that is some fucking bullshit. I won't go through her whole story, but, you know, I was like, tried to get a place, and all of a sudden this guy was just, he auto accepted it, and then, and it was late, and she should have been able to have the place right then, and then he wanted to meet her and get her ID, and then he said he was doing her a favor. She's giving him $900 for 4 days, and so then he just dropped her off that one day. He wouldn't even let her come that day, and then he's just like, tough shit. And So then it was $900 for 3 days, and she had to find somewhere else to stay that night that she had already paid for. And then she told him to cancel the thing. He wouldn't cancel it. And Airbnb won't do anything thus far to help her. But, shady shit. But in this argument that she was having with this fella, she goes, well, I just paid you $900 for 4 days. He goes, I get $500 of that. Big deal. So see the problem too, when it's not you and your business. But see, everybody keeps trying to have the easy way, the quick way. So they go through these institutions that are taking a huge cut, and it lowers the standard of all of the stuff. It lowers the standard of the service, the merchandise, whatever it is. There's cost cut to pay the middleman. And so we have all these middlemen. That's what the banking institute is. They're just the fucking, like the loan sharks for the rich people whose money who were supposedly borrowing, except for they aren't really borrowing money because they got the laws fixed so that they get their money all immediately. But then they play games with our stuff, with us having to pay it back to them, and then they start getting us bound up in taxes and all sorts of other stuff. Because it used to be like your family bought some property, it was y'all's property forever. That was it. That was y'all's property. That was where you buried your family members. That's where, it was where you got your food. It was all your stuff. And they had to interfere and take it away. Take away lands, take away farms. And it's a big thing that's going on right now in Norway too. I mean, it's going on all over the place. Like, it's way up at the headline or the forefront of what humanity has been going through. But it's happening right now in Norway, where the industry is just plowing through the indigenous people and the land and stuff. And they're talking about they've taken away all of the reindeers, places to graze and stuff, and put in commercial, industrial stuff. And so they just, they're constantly fucking everything, especially when the indigenous people are used to living off of the life cycle. They're more in sync. They're more in harmony. And see, that's what they're trying to bust. And they try and keep all of us in like judgment and stuff. So we look down on the people. Because before, they always had the people looking down on the people. Like, we had the right way of life. Well, then our way of life had to blow up. So we had to start trying to understand there's got to be more to this, like what's going on. And you have to go more to your roots, and you go more towards your history, and then you go more towards what's happening to the underdog and what they've been doing and all of the trickiness and everything. Like, it's an elaborate scheme, to take over the world. And they've been actively in the process for a long ass time. But, this is also this big spiritual awakening, because, there was a purpose to all of those things that were happening, all in the greater learning, not only to ourselves, but the greater learning to all of the universe's expansion. So all of those things had a purpose. So it was, it wasn't like we were doing something wrong, but that time is up. It's over with. And it's kind of like the people who are too trapped in it, it holds them back. It holds them in it. But it's like parts of their mind. Like how I kept seeing it is like these clenched fists. But it's like their mind is wrapped around it so tightly that it's so hard to let go. And I know that's why that they're playing this stuff out the way they're playing it out. So motherfucking slowly. And so, I don't know. It's like so, it is like, what are those things? Like those Mexican soap operas or something. I swear to God, that's what this whole thing is like. It's like these dramatic things happen, and it's like, dun da da. So, the whole thing is it's ridiculous. And it's just as crazy when you see people who take it so serious, everything that's happening. It's like, this is a part of their awakening, but it's just like when you're watching it, it's like, oh my God. And it's nuts how it just drags on and how it like will eat at you. To me, I'm so burnt out on it, man. But so this was the thing I wanted to share. And I had to go through so many motherfucking videos to get to one where I was like, oh, finally some information that I'm interested in. And I swear to God, I just can't, it's weird. Like, I don't know. There's something weird happening on TikTok. And I don't know if it's happening on all the other ones. But it is weird. It's kind of like a cuckoo clock is springing all its springs or something. And it's just like boing, boing. And it's weird. It's like you're going through it. And it's people who used to be like talking about something, and now they're jumping up and they're dancing and it's weird. And then for me to just keep seeing the same fucking people over and over and over, it's like, what in the holy hell? And some of the ones, like on the animal ones, somebody was laughing about that. I don't know, maybe it sounded kind of hardcore or something, but the animal one gets me because I had heard this a long while ago, because I used to watch like the dodo. Like, I don't remember when it was, but it was like 2017 to 2019 or something, somewhere in there. I would watch those videos of these pet rescues, and it would always be like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh my God, thank you, God. And then I started hearing about that those people go out and do these videos in other countries and stuff. And here too, like they'll go and they'll set it up. They'll do horrible things to the animals to set it up for views. So it's all about getting views. So then it was like, oh my God. So I got so disgusted. I don't want to see them at all. And then on TikTok, it really gets you. There's constant, oh my God. It's like every single day, 10 people must go out and run into abandoned animals. And it's this constant dog and cat rescue all the time. And then you watch one, and then it's going to send you 500,000. And then in the 500,000, you're going to see 100,000 of the ones where you're like, okay, this has got to be set up. This has got to be set up. So you can't get comfortable watching them and being like, oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh, another saved animal, and then it's so full of so much tragedy too. Ugh. Out of the blue, then you get like a rescue of these fucking dogs that are used for bait and used for, it's like, oh my God. And all these fucking people who apparently just think the thing to do is just go tie your animal to a tree and leave it. It's like, give it a goddamn shot, man. Let it fucking at least have a shot, to go out and live wild. I think that, it's like the same thing of anything that you've domesticated, you release, is going to, have a hard time. It's kind of down on the food chain a little bit, but at least give it a chance to get out there. I mean, a lot of dogs can make it in the wild. I think that is kind of where like wolves and foxes and all these like wild kind of dogs came from. Like, it's just dogs that were, I don't know if they were ever domesticated. I think that whatever dogs that became domesticated, whatever, when they started doing it, then they started doing so much breeding and crossbreeding. And it could have been like a wild animal became friends with a person. Like, it still happens. A long time ago, before all of, pet stores and shit. And that then it had babies and whatever, it just came into a thing where more people started having dogs in their houses and training them. But it's still, there's something that people don't get about dogs and cats and animals and everything. It's just like they're just starting to get it. They're just starting to wake up to it. It's part of like the awakening. And, you know, I don't know, for some reason they couldn't know it ahead of time. They had to go through their life not knowing it. But, you know, and it's hard to wake up, apparently. You know, it wasn't for me, but, you know, like I've had a different kind of life, I don't know, than apparently a lot of people. And so, anyways, the thing I'd seen this morning was talking about that and the quantum system, the QFS thing. And so, whatever is going so fucking slow. And the reason it's going slow is because of us, because of the people. And it is like how awakened the people are. And so the people, because the system is, it's a conscious-based kind of system. So it's like, it's interactive with us. And so the people, as they're awakening, apparently they're still super dependent. They're still really needing a savior. And you see it. You see it all the time. Like when I was hearing this, I was like, fuck, yeah, it totally makes sense. Because you totally see it. You got all these fucking people, huge amount of people waiting on Jesus. You got a huge amount of people waiting on Trump. You got a huge amount of people just waiting on Republicans in general. You got a huge amount. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And they're not seeing like what this is all about. They're not seeing about growing. They're not seeing like stuff that is so obvious to me. People don't see it. And then for people who it's real obvious to, that when we're out speaking out about it, it's like, but the people aren't ready to hear it. This was something I was really getting yesterday, because I was just like getting so frustrated how censorship, how just numbers go backwards. It's just like, fuck. It's just, god damn. Fuck. Talk about energy flows, like when you're just dammed up, and it's just so frustrating, and you see these just open gates of misinformation, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so frustrating. And how the people just all jump on together. And like I just saw this video of this girl, and she was saying that she's a recovering spiritual person. And so she was talking about the problems with it. And she was indigenous, and so she was blaming it on this white, empty-minded culture kind of thing, which, yeah, kind of it is. It's so fucking phony and artificial and superficial, and that's why I keep saying it's fucking fake-ass shit. It's fucking people who have, you know, just all of a sudden became awakened to their soul, you know, last week. And then they're telling everybody what to do. And that is a sure sign right there that there's a problem, is because as you advance spiritually, you understand that your view is so minimal. Why you don't need to get everybody to have your view, even though that is the hypocrisy here of what I'm bitching about, is not getting enough opportunity to get my viewpoint out there, when I feel like more people need to hear it, because it, I don't know, gets them to see things in a broader perspective or something. But you know, when I was feeling frustrated about it yesterday, that was the message to me. It's like the people aren't ready. If the people were ready, it would be going. And so it's the people who will open it up. And so I was just like, you know, I don't know. I'm in those conversations with them all day. And so, but that was one little bit. And so then, now I have a bunch of things coming in. Oh, okay. So, okay, so this woman, let me go back to where I was. So now it's like a bunch of things hitting me at once. Okay, so, the quantum thing. Okay, the girl in recovery from the spiritual. Okay, so she was saying about that, that they sit there and tell you you can't feel your feelings, that you have to just focus on the good stuff, and you have to, I can't think of, it was a couple, it was like 3 or 4 things. It was all basically that stuff, all the stuff that I keep saying. It doesn't make any sense. That's not, if you are going through your spiritual journey, like which I've been for, I don't know, to me it's been my whole life's journey. You go through different parts, just like the food thing. You'll go through all different things as you advance yourself, going through from your soul's perspective. You'll go through, and you know, like I said, you like advance, and you understand that everybody's perspective is just as valid, and everybody is on their own journey. You just open yourself more. But these people who are out there like preaching, it's like closing and making rules, which is completely anti what spirituality was always about. And so so these people, yeah, who keep following, and then following these big content creators that are out there. And that's what I'm saying, is like all this misinformation that is being pumped into the world, but it's a part of the learning to not be dependent. Learning, it's like having that dependency slap you in the face. And then plus these people who are pushing these I don't know, there's propaganda propaganda paraphernalia, but it is like all of this same kind of thing. It's just like this artificial information that they're just like guessing. Well, it sounds good, this is what I think. And you don't know, they haven't done their healing. If you haven't gone through all of your healing, because there's a lot of healing that would get you to see things differently. And a lot of people haven't been doing any healing through their entire lives. They haven't been doing any healing. Like they've always lived in like a vengeful spirit, a beat down manner, victim kind of way of living. They never could see that they could have any power or things could get better. They were just caught up in the artificial and just trying to put on a front to people. So it became so toxic, they didn't even realize it. So it is, it's a problem that we have to acknowledge, to grow, to do better. But it is, just because it's called spiritual doesn't mean that the people who are so up there leading the pack are they don't really have any business doing it, because that's not what it's about. It's like another movement. It's like another group. It's like another, buy the gear, get the gear, show your colors, represent. And it has no purpose. It's the exact opposite, even in spirituality. In spirituality, you take away all of it. You take away everything. None of it matters. None of that matters. You can stand there naked in front of somebody. It's getting into who the people are at their depth, which I just saw this was a cool video. and this lady, I think she's a model, and so she went and worked in Europe or America and stuff, and then now she's gone back to Uganda. And I always hear good things like, fuck, I want to move to Uganda. I want to fucking move to Africa. It's like, fuck. Everything I always see. She was doing this whole thing about, why do you say we're a third world country? So people say, Africa's third world country. People say all that about places in Central America, South, all over the place. But I know that is what they go and do. The rich people go and do. They take the resources, they beat the people down in order to control them and take away their jobs and take away, they take control of all the places. And so they create places that have, fighting over food or whatever. And in Africa, because they've done that over the famine, like they couldn't figure out how to do any kind of watering. They couldn't figure that out. So they created, famine there where people were starving. But I don't know if that was just certain villages, probably, because that seems to be what they do throughout the rest of the lands. Is, go in and starve the people out, because there's got to be resources there that they want. And so, and then you get Gator Boy out there, helping out in his way. So, we've got that up in the, all these girls have suddenly gone paralyzed from the waist down or something. And I'm sure it'll be like, oh, and they all just received the great new thing that comes. But she's talking about all of the great things there in the community, and when people are talking, you aren't talking about what's in fashion or all that superficial stuff, or what the weather is or any of that. She said you're talking, you really know who your neighbor is. You know how they're feeling. You know what they're going through. You know the people of your community. You can rely on the people of your community. You never go hungry. Even if you've never been there before, there's such a sense of trust. And there's a IOU system. And people rely on, if you don't have any food, you go to the store and you get some, that when you have some money, that you'll bring it back and pay them back. That it's just based on integrity and dignity and stuff. And that is what people still have. And that is what we've lost over here, because ours became about money, and people started doing anything they could to get money. They would lower themselves, they would murder, they would do whatever it took so that they could get some of that. And then it became such a shallow endeavor, of what was even for sale, what you could buy. And so then they started wanting to get as much of that as they could. So then it's like, speed up fashion, speed up trends, speed up, manipulate their minds more and more and more. But, that's in places in like America where it's super shallow, superficial, where it was built around that. Like they structured it to be built on that. And so, we have so many shallow, superficial people here, but people are going through so many traumas. And so then that, shows them what they're made of. Some people, I don't know, if they go back and just start being shallow, I think a lot of the storms, when nothing happens to them, that they just go back and they're just like, we got through another one, and kind of get smart alecky about it. And, I don't know each person's own, I gotta keep squirming around, I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know each person's stuff that they have to go through. But it's everybody's own lessons, and it could be those people who just remain super shallow. They're the ones who go out in this big earthquake or big whatever, big drama that happens over there. That those are the people who go. Even that stuff just seems kind of drug out, It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just drug out, the whole thing. just like it lingers over us and over us and over us, like all of these things, and knowing how much stuff still has to happen, and just, I don't know, just is a lot. But I guess, it's a lot to somebody who can see, but that is why I think, the majority of people can't see, and they are not supposed to see, because it's uncomfortable. It's like the people who can see, we're working on something else. There's another thing that we're working on. It's challenging too. What's challenging is what other people, what their things they're going through. These things are challenging, all levels of the thing are challenging no matter what you're going through. So don't feel bad about what you're going through. And just like that girl said, she had to leave spirituality. And then she started even questioning it about being like this white bread spirituality or something. And, just basically it is. It's shallow and superficial. It's not deep. It's not going into other cultures and trying to understand, what is their practice? What do they think about a soul? How do they look at things? Going outside of your comfort zone and trying to understand more about the depth of who you are and, where you came from and what is the meaning of all this. When these people, I don't know, they do it in a couple of weeks. They did it in a dream. They did it in a fucking ayahuasca trip. And they knew the meaning of life when they did ayahuasca. Now they've got a fucking channel and they're telling everybody. And it's like that whole drug movement to spirituality, this whole Burning Man, philosophy or whatever. It's like, it's actually a journey. It's actually, not something you just do a trip on and see, wow, life is so much bigger than I thought it was, man. No, it's actually going to figure out, like, what is it all about, man? What's it all mean? Who am I and what am I doing here? It's the path to you. It's your path to your enlightenment. So that is what people are just beginning. And so when you got all these people who are just following them so tightly, and you got people misleading and taking people in the wrong direction, but it's a part of what humanity needs to heal. And so, it's, another frustration to me, because I gotta just keep being like, seeing, I feel like I see people going through things that I just feel like, fuck, if I could just talk to them for a minute and get them to see. But it's like their mind's not open. They don't they don't see. Their mind's not open to it. There's a lot of people that think the stuff I say just sounds like crazy beliefs. It's just, that's what I get from my kids. You just got crazy beliefs. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm getting information from beings that know a little bit more, and I'm constantly getting confirmation. So I'm pretty sure that, they're not going to all of a sudden steer me wrong. I am always trying to guess, in the communication, and I am sharing a lot, beyond what I've ever shared before in my life. So, that's putting myself out there. But I feel like it's important for people to understand this is so much deeper. Everybody's so stuck in this shallow part. Everybody's so stuck in fear. And it's so much bigger and deeper than that. And so that depth to things, just where I see like it's like fucking going more shallow. Like people who used to be talking about stuff that mattered, and now they're just dancing for fucking goddamn TikTok shop points or something. Which I was going to say, it's like TikTok shop to me seems like Amazon. It seems like it's just this third party where everybody can sell their shit through it. But they'll also give you points, and you can earn money. You can earn points. I don't know. They're constantly sending me shit. When they're not taking down my videos, they're sending me shit. And I just don't pay any attention because I have no desire at all to be involved in any of their business stuff. I know it's all fucking shady. I know it's all bullshit. And even on here, you know, I still have no idea. Like that they just, I don't know, they mess with my numbers, they turn stuff back and stuff. So it's frustrating, and I just have to just let it go, keep going, keep putting out the energy that I know is necessary to the world, even if, you know, they're not ready for it yet. At some point, it will break through, the dam will break through, and, you know, people start wanting to hear. And it's so simple, you know, don't follow other people's rules, become an independent thinker, follow your heart's desires, stay focused on your journey. Manifesting is directing your energy, it's directing your outlook. Your outlook is your output. You are if you're just feeling bad about yourself all the time and you don't think you're worthy, then the universe is going to bring you all sorts of shit that's going to happen in your life to try and teach you your worth. So it's going to beat you down and beat you down, because you have to learn your worth. You have to acknowledge it. You have to realize it. So you have to go through the steps to see it. And so it's a whole process. And, you know, I just keep trying to share the purpose and the point of living, and your soul is real, and your soul is, you know, it's what's powering you, not your motherfucking brain. Your brain is an illusion. Your brain is the processor of information that you have going from in and out. But you have to learn how to manage it. You have to learn about all of the communication going on. And, you know, I don't know what that's like to try and do as an adult, other than I can tell you that there's a lot going on in there that you have to maneuver through. You have your processing, where you're processing and you're thinking about, you know, what went on and who, and then you've got these energies that, you know, will feed you ways to look at it. Like they always want you to look at it in a way that is going to be a toxic behavior. And those toxic behaviors, those programs are run because you created them. They were birthed out of an experience. So you have to go back and find the experience to relieve that program. You know, you've got to go through, however, you know, I mean, people can come up with all sorts of different ways. Like, you don't have to just do anything just my way. I mean, there's people you can go and just sit and go like, oh, I'm just going to go in and sit and I'm going to meditate on my programs, and I'm going to delete the programs that are unnecessary. Like, you know, and then you may have things come up in your mind, and you may be able to process it in your mind. Like, everybody has their own way of processing. That's what I keep saying. Everybody's way of understanding who and what they are is different. Everybody will come to their own realizations, and we can come up in similar ones because we have similar vibration. We have similar understandings. We, you know, probably a lot of us that have similar understandings and stuff, we have a series of impact events where we've got different life patterns that we've experienced together. So it brings us into a common knowing that we share with one another. And then when we come into a time when we have, you know, interacted, even if it's just watching me, or like, because so many people are like totally relate, and it is like it's like on a spiritual level. It's like an understanding on a soul level, because it's not in the physical. And so that is, you know, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. It's something that's like a common denominator between our souls, of some kind of common experience or something, that we have something in there that holds us, that binds us, like where tribes are created and whatnot. So anyways, that is, but on this quantum thing, so she was saying that the QFS can't go into effect until the people are ready to receive. And like, I'm fucking ready to receive, I'll tell you. I'm fucking stomping around, standing like, give me what I deserve. I'm all about it. I'm ready for receiving. But I guess the general population is still looking outside of itself for a savior. It's like, what do you have to be knocked down? How far do you have to go? God damn. It's like, come on, people. Fuck. And it's so frustrating then, when you feel like you could get people to understand, but I mean, they can't hear me. They can't hear me. They can't understand what I'm saying. It sounds like a bunch of blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And it's like they don't get it. Like, you have to have ears to hear. You have to have the mind that's open enough to understand. And even when I look at some of the times on wordplay and stuff, like, there's so many interpretations that can be had by so many differing perspectives. It all depends on how you perceive, how you receive, how your information processes through. That is what gives you your sight, your vision, your insight, your view of the world. And so it is, and it's all has to do, it isn't just have to do with the soul, because it has to do with the player, I think. It has to do with how well you can play this game, I swear to God. And it is, but we're in this awakening time. Like, the game is changing. That's what makes it so much more complicated, is we're having this huge change in the game. And so that is what this lady with the QFS thing was talking about, is that, so everybody's still in this very 3D mindset, and you have to be in a 5D where you are, you're your own savior. It's this higher state of consciousness. It is this other way of thinking. It is this other energy that you're drawing off of. And so when I was hearing her say this stuff, I was thinking, oh, so is this for us who are more in the awakening part, of this mind expansion, understanding of what's going on the planet, and this whole expansion that's happening, and our evolution that is occurring. So for us, those of us who are focused on that aspect through this chaotic adventure, that this crazy movie that we're going through, is if we ourselves start pulling from that energy, we start pulling from that energy, and we are creating that experience of receiving. So when we start putting it into our minds of receiving, and I don't know how this works. This was just while I was listening to her. I was thinking, but it's us evolving in this 5D consciousness. Those of us who are in that active evolution, where we are attempting it, we are working on it, we're working on ourselves, we're working on our consciousness, we're working on, being our best selves, and making changes in the world, trying to create a better world for us all, and in awareness, and in love, and in compassion. And so when we are actively doing that and making these changes, if we aren't already accessing into that energy, even though if we can't just access, in our accounts or something, but it's the energy. See, it's always with the energy. And she was even saying that is going to be one of the things about this QFS, is about this flow, is about, it's about, we are the energy bank. We are the bank of this energy. And I don't know, when she was explaining it, it was it was very micro macro in my mind, how she was saying it, and about this, like how it's evolving, how the whole thing is evolving. But I know that there is still this physical part, this gold But also, if we are moving out of this focus on the physicalness of the experience, of like out of the superficial part, and focusing more on the depth of like life, the depth of the being, and we're going more into this deeper part. But I still think we're going to still be experiencing sensation and stuff. It seems like, to me, I don't know, it seems like we're going to go more of like a hyper sensation. Like we're going to start being able to control it more. Like I don't know, I keep seeing like this, I don't watch those superhero movies or whatever, but like what is that one, like, it's not like Thor, Iron Man or something, the one with Robert Downey Jr., when he goes inside that thing and he has to like, I think even that movie Avatar, but when they go inside, even in the movie Avatar, because that is his consciousness going in, kind of like how the babies are, when you're noticing now with the babies, it's like an advanced consciousness in this little baby suit hasn't managed how to work yet. And so it is it's I don't know, kind of like that. I don't even know what the fuck. So I'm going back over here to, so her saying about that was why it's hasn't been going yet. It's the people's state of consciousness, because it's everyone's state of consciousness that needs to advance in order for the system to come. That's what I kept saying about all this shit that is going on. It's us that is creating it. Like whatever is going to happen, the solar flash or whatever, this cataclysmic event thing, we are creating it. We are creating all these storms. All of this madness is all a part of the energy that is going on. It's all of this, and it all goes together. That's why it's this big universal action that is happening. It's like it's kind of like we are seeing how our energy affects the universe. It's kind of a part of the awakening, really. So it's kind of like, and it feels like everything just keeps going to sleep, like on different body parts and stuff. It's like, fuck, it's so fucking uncomfortable. But I'm not fucking going to any other goddamn doctors. I'm not going and getting on any other goddamn stuff. I already know what it is, and I just got to keep on detoxing. And then when your body is telling you to rest and it's sore and it's hurting, you just gotta listen to it. Like I want to fucking just go to town and just sit there and finish this one hat, and but my joints, like right here, this hand, it hurts so bad to keep crocheting. It's just like these weird places where like you'll do something that you don't do all the time or something, a muscle or something, and it doesn't, it like irritates it. It makes it really mad, and I don't know, if it's part of like they've done something to like nerves to create nerve damage by damaging the sheaths. Like there's all these like protective things in our bodies that have been under attack by all of this stuff that sits inside of our body, which is so weird when you get to the whole thing about we're not even flesh and blood and how they can affect something that isn't even real. The whole thing is so trippy. It's just so weird. But anyways, that does have an effect because I feel it. It hurts and it's totally uncomfortable. And it's crazy because like I know that I am doing my healing and raising my vibration and stuff, but it's like we can't get past something. And so I don't know when she's saying about that, if it will make any difference for us to really focus on the energy of this receiving, like ready to just receive, 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 because that is, where all this stuff has to break down. It's kind of like people feel like they don't deserve anything. They just will take whatever abuse, and they just want someone to come and save them. And you can see that is what I've been talking about, and just everybody in the micro macro of what people will take in their own lives. But we do that as the general population, as the collective. And so it's all of us that have to change when we start taking in our own power, and we start saying, I'm not going to take this abuse anymore. And it can be in anything. It can be in any kind of relationship, but it doesn't mean you turn into angry and bitter and vindictive. Instead, you turn into compassionate, forgiving, loving, understanding. But, it's a process. I wish everybody could just jump right on into that part. But, we have to go through this process. So I don't know how long this can go. I'm going to keep putting out the energy, that I'm a free living being, and that they can't put their man's laws over me, and whatever they're going to try and do to interfere about my home or whatever, I'm going to fight it. I still think that the banking thing is going to go down. I think before the end of the month. I don't think it can keep going. I think I keep hearing more and more dates over this deadline, that deadline, and this has been going for so long though. Fuck. But that's why, when you've been hearing these deadlines for a couple of years now, it's like, okay, this has got to be the last one. Like, they can't just keep going and going and going. Like, you can see the stuff is happening. All this stuff is happening. The map's changing. The countries are coming together. They're going under a peace treaty. They're going under a common value. Like, these things are happening around us. It's just here that it is like, I don't know, because I know more about what's happening in America. I know it's in all the different places. They're doing it in whatever ways to try. Some places it seems like it's just like outlandish to keep pushing and pushing on the people. Like some of the things I'll hear, like in England and Canada and Australia, of pushing in on people's rights just to keep getting people so pissed that they have to stand up for themselves. And in America, it seems like it's the same way, but it's so spread out. It's, it was like way over in Michigan, this happened at school. Way over there in Nebraska, this happened. It's just like all this random stuff all over the place. But you got to just really trust that it's in motion. It's all in motion, even though we want the big old like, oh, look, the bank's closed. But, like I said, however they figured this out with this quantum computers, told them how to play it out. And something about the people and how they have to awaken and stuff. And so, I completely see what that woman was saying about how the people are so dependent. They're so dependent on a savior. People are so stuck. And it's so crazy that these people who try and put themselves out there as like really good Christians, really nice patriot, all this stuff, and they're just becoming just angry and vindictive and hateful, and it's like people are just showing. And then you got this whole side of these people who just have gone completely shallow, just anything, just give me some money. It's like wacky. So this stuff has to like play out. People have to, it's like those of us who are observing can see, but they can't see it for themselves. That's the part of the Emperor's New Clothes part. It's like when the people see it for themselves and they realize, then they see their own nakedness. And up until now, they just think, this is what everybody else is doing. This is what you do. But, they haven't seen, that they haven't seen yet that they're being led and they're just following. Especially it's crazy because so many of these people think they're such independent thinkers, and they don't even understand what following is. They don't understand how they just, adapt to whatever they think the circumstance is in order to be. Now these people think like, well, that's being independent. Yeah, I'm an independent entrepreneur now if I'm on TikTok shop and I'm selling my stuff. It's like, you're paying a third party in order to put your stuff out there. The whole thing is just, it's sleazy. I swear to God. It's just sleazy. I can't believe how many people are just on there trying to sell something and trying to sell other people's stuff. It's like, I don't know. I mean, you would think it should be in different sections or something. Like if you want to go to the advertisements, if you're looking for something, but it's like you have to go through 20 advertisements to just see what's going on in people's lives. I'm always just looking for what's going on in people's lives. And so then you see like a lot of sadness or tragedy or this missing or that, like all these different things going on in different places. But that's where it just becomes like, oh my God, it's just one after another of horrible, 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 horrible. But then, but I'm looking for things like about uh, uh, where kind of like the fire things are interesting to me, because then it's like, okay, so is this another attack? So is this like, I just like pay attention to what things seem like attacks, and then stuff about the money, and then kind of watch the government people, how outraged they get. Like they get so argue about so much of this different stuff, but you can kind of like read the energy of it, of like how things are going and what people are getting mad, like, because it's gotta, at some point it's gotta just pop off. And I don't know, I mean, I felt like, are they gonna just drag this whole speaker thing out all week with just drama? Oh, these people don't want Trump. Oh, these people do. Well, these people don't. It's all this bullshit. And through that, are we going to be seeing people where it's like, oh, well, these people are obviously criminals. This is the way that they're going to expose all these different criminals. Like right now, it seems like, is this a big old exposure on this Matt Getz guy? Like, it's so hard to see because there's so many like, I don't know, double agents and people who are covering their own tracks and stuff. It's like, we got to see it all play out to know the truth. But there's it's all a part of the whole thing, the whole awakening and the truth, and it's just like this slow process. And to me, I know a lot of people, the money thing, I know I'm not the only one. I think especially like right now, inflation is so bad everywhere. When you hear people breaking it down, what they're going through and how much their rent's gone up, how much their food's gone up, and it's like, it's mental. And so, it's way harder. It's just me and Stella, and so it's way harder. You have a whole family and all trying to make it. You got to feed them, and then all this bullshit keeps going with schools and stuff. And I'm sure everybody has just wore the fuck out. And so it's got to be collapsing. And then the medical part, it's going to be such a relief when they get those med beds out there. And they're supposedly getting spread out all over the place. Like once it starts saying that we can go into them. But that is also has something to do with quantum. Like you have to be a certain vibration. That would be the thing, I think, if they're going to be reading or scanning anything about us, it's going to be something about they can pick up on our vibration. And I think this cataclysm thing, if you're low vibration, you wouldn't be able to go forward, because you have to be a higher vibration in order to go through it, because it's this jump into a higher vibration like world. Like the energy is just going to be a lot higher, and we've been in this more dense, and so you have to do work to be able to feel it, to be able to handle it. And so I think that and that's why all this stuff is going on. So you do the work. But if the people, what was I going to say? Because if the people go and do their work, So if that, I have no fucking idea what I was gonna say. My stomach's back growling. The parasites they were satisfied for what? It's been an hour or something. Maybe it was an hour and a half. I don't know. I know I ate 2 of those little biscotti things I made in a cup of tea. And now I'm really into this chaga and matcha tea. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to get into the mushroom tea and just start drinking that. I'll just get my own. I think the matcha has a blend of 6 anyways. And the chaga and stuff, all that stuff that is good for you, that helps your body. But when your body is just under this constant chemical assault, and I know that's what's going on here. I mean, every day we've gotten up and it's foggy for hours and hours and hours. And I know that's the density of whatever it is that they're putting on us. And so, and it just sucks too, because it was like right before this dumping, it seemed like it was like a week and a half ago or something. And I was thinking like, fuck, I feel so good, man. God, is so nice to not have any kind of aches or pains or anything. And then it was like right after, it was like all of a sudden, it was like, oh my God, I can't move my hands. Oh, I can't move this. Oh. And then it's at first, it's like, okay, did I just sleep wrong? Is it this? Is it that? Maybe it was eating the salsa, it caused inflammation. And that's one thing too, is like we even have foods that can cause inflammation. And then the chemicals in the foods. So that also can be, so it's just it's all the toxins. It's just the toxins are what affect us. And then they tell us that it's a sickness, but yeah, it's a sickness, all right. It's the fucking, I'm sick of toxins. I'm sick of being poisoned. That's nice. That's my sickness. Sick of the fucking bullshit. That's my sickness. So whatever, we gotta go through. And this woman, her video is her and her husband are doing some kind of spiritual thing to help people to heal. So their thing was to help people to heal so that they can start getting ready for this quantum thing. Because you have to be a higher vibration. You have to be more healed. There's just something about it. That's why I think, it's not like you can just take somebody who eats like shit and won't take care of themselves, put them in there, and then they come out with this new body if they're still low vibration, because they'll just turn around and do it again. It's like you have to learn from your mistakes. This is a learning period. And, but if you're, it takes you 3, 4, 5 times, don't be hard on yourself, but just start realizing, oh, that's why this keeps happening over and over. I'm learning. I'm supposed to be learning the lesson here. I gotta just learn something so it won't keep happening again and again. And then it will, you will learn something, and it won't keep happening because you'll learn what you were supposed to learn, and then you'll do something different. And because that's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to work. And, okay, so let me think. Was there something else about I really think that everything always, when I see about the stuff in Africa, I'm always like, God, it's so cool. There's that one girl who was talking about when she had moved from Uganda to Nashville. And she said first they moved to New York. But that was like a transition. They were just like there for, I don't know, less than a week, I think. And then she ended up in Nashville. She said when she was in New York, which it could have just been overnight on their flight or whatever, but she said New York was cool because there was so much out in the street. There was so much going on. And so she liked that. But then she got to Nashville and she said that, what in the hell is going on? And she would do videos and show, like, there's no people, nobody's out doing anything. People just drive. And so she showed this video from her window. And then she showed video of Uganda. And it's like marketplace. Everybody's dressed in like cool clothes, all colorful, carrying all sorts of stuff. Everybody's out in the market talking. It is so interactive, and she said it's so community driven. And that's also what that other woman was talking about. Like, why do you say we're the third world country? Everybody is like community driven. They have like their ethics, their morals, they've got standards. Like, it's a completely different way that people treat each other. And then they get called, like something's wrong with them when they're the ones living better. But that is what this whole experience is like, man. To me too, it was just what I was talking about yesterday. It's just so weird when you have been living more of the right way. Not to say like I'm perfect or something, I'm not saying that at all, but living in a way of considering morals and ethics and realizing like we're being watched and stuff. Like, I had a different way of looking at things, and and always feeling like, why is it that I'm such a weirdo? Why is it I'm so strange in this world? And not being able to see until, then all of a sudden to see how everybody's so programmed. But like the same thing of what that woman is like, it's weird. It's so opposite. It's so upside down. But it's going to turn right side up. That's this whole thing, this whole big process everything is turning right side up. Everything's turning the other direction. So, if you had morals and stuff before, you're going to be more comfortable. But if you didn't, and you just were going with the dark, and then when it turns to that other way of being, then those people are going to be very uncomfortable. And then they've got a lot of work to do on themselves, a lot of growing and healing to get themselves into that state of mind of, it's like the ascension. It's like this expansion, your expansion of your consciousness. But so, to me, when I heard that woman saying, so they're going to do her and her husband are doing some course or something for people to do their healing, which I feel like that's what I've been trying to do through all of this, is try and help people do their healing, try and help them help themselves. Let me help you. What is that? Let me help you help. Can't think of it now. I think it's some Tom Cruise line. But could be Cuba Gooding Jr. I don't know whose fucking line it is. I used to be able to, before my brain injury, oh my gosh, I was good at doing that. I could do lines off of movies, tell you who it was. Now it kind of just goes into a fog. Like, wait, who was that? What was that line? I used to be so good at it. There's just things that you gotta let go of when you get a brain injury, or you can just hold yourself back and just sit there and be sad about who you were and what you could do, and you got to let go and move forward and to become who you're going to become, because who you were is already gone. And if you just sit there in mourning and feeling bad and being the victim, then you just hold yourself back. You got to go forward. It's the thing that so many people have got to learn about, is going forward, letting go, and don't just hold yourself back. Keep moving. No matter what gets you down, you got to keep moving. Otherwise, you just die too. Essentially, even if you're still breathing, you've given up on your own life. And it seems like that's the hardest thing too, is when it comes to death. That's the hardest thing for people to move on, especially if it's the death of a child. It seems like that the people have a really hard time moving forward from that. Like, that is a hard thing to go through. And all different things are so hard, but you've got to keep going. You got to keep moving, and to me, I would think, as a soul, Like, I know all this stuff is for a purpose, losing a child and everything. It's all about this learning, and it all has to do with you growing, and then plus it has to do with these patterns through all these different lives and stuff. Oh, God, I'm feeling really weird all of a sudden. I am so sick of this stuff. I feel it's like there's always somebody interfering or something. Like there's always some interference in our lives. Like true freedom and sovereignty is not being interfered with. It's just really being, free. And I feel weird. So, anyways, now I think it's, I'm going to keep trying to just work on receiving, however that is to you. Just keep on being in some sort of receiving, because that is something that is being a problem for people, that they are stuck. So it's the energy that needs to go out. So I don't know, be excited, even though it's hard. It's hard when, there's nothing happening, no movement and stuff, but to just keep being excited about receiving and how good it's going to feel and how much you deserve. Whatever you get, you deserve it. Don't question your own worth. And, and it has to do with you building you up. It has to do with, it all has to do with our own individual expansion for each of us. So, it really is all about you. It's all about you and what you do and how you do it and what you do with your time, but it's only for you. It isn't for anyone else. It's not like you have to do it to please anyone else. It's not like you have to do it, for anything other than for you to improve your life, to feel better, to make things better. So anyways, I'm just now, it's like, fuck. Like, I don't know how long this is going to go on. I don't know how long they can drag this out. They're going to fucking drag out this Joe. It's like they're just enjoying the end of the show a little too much. It's like they're fucking coming out and doing a goddamn, what is those things called at the end of a show when everybody claps and the people come back out, and an encore. It's like they're fucking just dragging out, like they're doing encores, but like we didn't even ask for it. It's like, just get this show on the road. Just fucking, we already know. Joe, Hunter, the whole fucking shenanigans. They're all fucking corrupt. Just fucking arrest them already. Like, goddamn. Just put it out in the news. The CIA, the FBI, they're all corrupt as fuck. All of them. The whole fucking shooting match. Like, just fucking hurry up. Just fucking say it, get it over with, and do it. Like, how long do we have to go on? Like, this is ridiculous. And so that's frustrating to me. Another thing I keep having, and I don't know if other people are having this, but it is weirding me out. And I've been talking about it for months, and it just goes more and more and more. It just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. There's these weird, all of a sudden, a smell that's from something when I was a kid, and it brings me back to that total memory that I had nothing at all. Thought about it, wasn't trying to think about it or anything. Just all of a sudden, I'm going to be sitting there, just get hit with this strong smell that could smell so strong, and then hit with the whole memory. I feel like I hear sounds outside. 3:52. Maybe people are getting ready to go to... No, it's Saturday. I don't know. Everything is just fucking creepy. Everything is just like you're on edge. Like, are they going to fucking just march up here? One thing too is I'm in the 100-mile radius, which most of us are, and whoever that shenanigan character who came, and who knows, today's Saturday, is it a Saturday thing? They're gonna be back today. Nobody came. I didn't even see any realtors or anything going slow past my house this week, and it could have been, and I just didn't notice. But I don't know if this, guy is going to come, but the UN, all their officers, their placed people, whatever, all their stuff that they're creating to be in charge of this 100-mile radius, that could have been too. And they can just come into your house. They have no reason to come in mine. I have no registered weapons, but they can just come in and take whatever they want now. That's already been. There was another thing too that I heard about Washington State today. I know I'm right about all this stuff that I'm saying, I swear. Especially the thing I heard today. It was like, oh my God. Washington State is just like a fucking paid lab. I don't remember what it was. It's just a fucking nonsense. This shit is just nonsense. But whatever. It's just weird. It's like, I get, like, for the people who have to go through it to wake up, but it's like, what about us who are already awake? Like, just working on our patience, or just keep on having faith, keep on holding on. Like, god damn. So it is aggravating, and you gotta feel the feelings. Like, yeah, I don't understand that, where they're telling people in spirituality. Like, I mean, there was, when my daughter went off on the, I don't know, TikTok spirituality or whatever, and I started seeing, like, what in the hell is spirit? And then she would come and tell me shit. It's like, I have been studying this shit. You can go on TikTok, and then for this to even be somebody who thinks that I'm going to the internet and thinking that I'm getting all these things. It's like, oh my gosh, hypocrisy. But but yeah, I was getting told all the time about this. Well, that's spiritual. This is spiritual. This is like, what? That is not. Spiritual is different than what they are telling people. And but when they start arguing with you, when it's just absurd. The whole thing's absurd. But what was I saying? I don't even know. I feel like I'm lost. I'm just out there just going all over the place. I don't even fucking know. And I kind of wanted to just go back to sleep. Maybe I just needed to purge out all that information, but I didn't even know what I was even going to fucking talk about. Except for when I saw that thing about the quantum thing, and it was just like, oh my gosh, but if we just keep working on that, like, because what is it? There's got to be something that we're supposed to do. There's got to be something more to it than just work on our patience and have faith. There's got to be things that we are also working on, because when you start doing healing all the time, it gets easier and easier and easier. It's not like it gets you all hung up. It's not like you got to sit there for a week and cry about something that happened 10 years ago. You just are like, fuck, just over it. It's just like, man, and you just move through shit so much different. But this whole awakening thing, like, and the whole thing about, I don't know, the finances and stuff. So I don't know if that guy comes out again today. I'm not gonna go up and look at his badge. I'm still not gonna go and try and see. All I know is he tried to show me both sides of it, and all I saw was one side definitely had some sort of emblem thing. And so I don't know. But they definitely, I already gave the UN. There's all sorts of problems happening with that kind of shit. But, like, I don't have, and I don't know. Like, see, they can just write their own rules. They're overriding it. Doesn't matter. No trespassing doesn't mean shit to them because they wrote the rules. That's what, to me, really has got to get people to really wake up to the fact that the government just wrote the rules. It's the same shit. It's the same motherfucking shit. They just wrote these motherfucking rules, and then we just complied because our parents did, our grandparents did. But it's not been that long. And so we are the ones who, we got to stand up and say, no. Just take your rules and shove them up your ass. But see, it just goes more rules and more rules and more rules. Got the UN rules, and they want you in the 15-minute city rules. They want you on the food line rule. All their shit is all about these, just making just rules about us, our existence. And so we have to it's this whole micro macro. It's us seeing, it's us standing up for ourselves, it's us realizing. It's that empowerment. That empowerment is the moving towards the quantum. And I just hope that part of the awakening thing is the giving back, that this money thing turns things into a good, positive thing. And it's not going to just drag out for goddamn another 2 years. No fucking way. I don't think it can go. I just can't imagine that all this shit would go by the end of the year. Like, I'm talking about the government and the money and stuff. I mean, we still got to go through so much shit. So much exposing different people. But it's going on everywhere. People are going down. People are being arrested. People are being exposed all over the place. So things are moving, but, like I said, you got to just stand up for what you believe in. Like, I can't tell you if you stop paying your stuff that everything's going to go fine. Because I don't know. I'm having to stand up for myself, and I don't know. I feel confident in it, and I feel very confident that we've already won, that the money thing is already switched, and that they have nothing to stand on to try and get money from me. The contracts are all null and void just by the mere collapse of the dollar, because everything was supposed to be paid in dollars. So that makes the contracts null and void, just because there's no way to pay in that currency when that currency doesn't exist, even though it's like a slow process. But from what I've heard, that they are, is the dollars come in, that they're not going back out. The places are having no cash. They're switching it already, where there's no cash at different places, which that's going to freak people out, because they're going to be all on the Fed now. We're going to all have to be on the Fed now. We're not going to be able to get anything unless we do all the compliancy and stuff. But they got to get out the dollars. I mean, that's the part of the awakening. But they got to get the dollars out of circulation, because they don't have any value. There's nothing that they're for. We got to get onto the quantum thing. Anyways, so however it's going to go down, you got to, each person's on their own journey. And so don't just do something because I say. You got to, think about what is right for you. What do you want to do? What are you comfortable with? And making your own stands of how you want to go through and maneuver all of this collapse of everything, our past world, the world we used to exist in. It's the collapse of that world. So anyways, I feel like I'm just rambling. I seemed like there was something else I was gonna say. Something about yesterday. There was something I said, and it was like, oh, I gotta fix that. It's something I said. I was like, I think it was maybe a place. Maybe I said a place, and I said the wrong place. I can't remember. But anyways, any of the stuff I say, you should look it up for yourselves anyways. Anything you want to know about, we all got to be going and looking stuff up for ourselves, not relying on other people or other people's information. That's all a part of this process of our growth. And this is a part of us, but we've been trained to be, deliberate in our need to have someone else guide us. It's like a part of the programming from the beginning of school. There's a study that they did, and they talked to a bunch of kids, these scientists or whatever. And they talked to all these kids. They were trying to figure out about genius and the genius gene. And so they talked to, I don't know how many kids, but they said it was like, 98% of them were genius level. And so then as time went on, that it kept going down and down and down. And in the study, what they had come up with was it was school that was making it, because it was like 2% of adults are geniuses when most kids are. And so, but it's during school that it just reduces it, because all school is doing is teaching you to not ask questions, to be compliant, to do what you're told, to just take in information. And that is also what religion, that's what I was saying yesterday. Everything about religion is also the same way. Just trust, listen, you just believe it because it's said. And so that is what, people are waking up from. People have to wake up and begin to think for themselves. And they're so trained to not think for themselves. That's why everything is so absurd and so outrageous. It's like, it's like if it's too regular, it doesn't click. But if it's something just outrageous, that gets tongues a wagging. So that's why there has to be so much outrageousness that is so aggravating. So that, you can't watch it all the time, or you just pull your own fucking eyeballs out and throw them at the TV. It's like fucking shit. So, but you got to feel your emotions. Don't fucking stuff them in, and don't pretend like they're not happening. Don't pretend like the world's not falling apart. That is mental illness right there. To just pretend like everything's fine when it's not. You got to be in reality and see, like, the world is falling apart. Everything's falling apart. And the people who don't see it, they're the ones who are like hypnotized. They're caught up. They're in a mind trap. They're really not paying attention. So anyways, I'm going to go. So I will talk to you later. But anything I say, any names, any of that stuff, just make sure that you go look it up. So whatever. And there's also this whole weird thing too about, we all get different things on our different Googles. We all get, like, it's weird. Like our realities, our worlds are like, it's very weird. And the one guy who was talking about the 1776, and he said when he started telling the Americans, like, we're not taught anything about this American Revolution war that supposedly, was us being liberated from England. And they know nothing about it. And, they're not involved in America. And they're taught so totally something different. And then, so people started saying, well, what about the war in 1812? And he's like, no, they don't teach any of this stuff. They teach us all different shit. All of us are learning different shit. We're all getting different things Googled. Like, we're just, I think it's to keep mass confusion, to keep us all unstable. But remember, everything that is happening is for you to stabilize yourself, so you to become more firm. Go with your gut. Trust your instincts. Trust yourself. And, and just look into things for yourself, and don't make things matter too much that don't matter. Don't give everything equal value. It's just, like, there's so many things. Just let go of it, and just recognize the flow that we are in. It is definitely a flow of transition, a flow of change. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.